Hi, welcome to our IDERA's Virtual Education. In this video, we're going to talk about the SQL Column Search product. It's a tool to help you understand and identify where your sensitive data likely resides within SQL Server. The way it does this, it allows you to configure a search based off of different string names and being able to identify what is likely to be sensitive data within your database. If you'd like to add or create new custom strings, you can also have the tool search for those strings as well when you're setting up your search string configuration settings. Now, in my case, what I want to go ahead and do is just kind of point you to this. What we're doing here, the items that you see checked are the items that we're looking for in this case. Now, what we're going to show you in this video is we're going to show you how you can take the data that's identified within the SQL Column Search product and then be able to export that out. And we'll show you then how you can import that data back into the IDERA SQL Compliance Manager product. So for those of you that are using Compliance Manager, it makes it really easy for you to obviously, first of all, identify where the sensitive data is. It also makes it easier for you to administer that in Compliance Manager to say, these are the columns that I want to audit. Now, that said, obviously once that happens, the benefit is that Compliance Manager can then report against that activity, can alert against that activity, and you can show a full accounting of anybody that's accessed that sensitive data, which is obviously really important in most cases to auditors that you might be dealing with when you're dealing with certain types of regulatory requirements like PCI, HIPAA, SOX, just to name a few. So that said, let's go ahead and get started and show you how we do this. The first thing we would need to do is configure the search, and that's going to be done in this view here. And as I said before, you can create and customize your own strings of data, which we will not do in this case. But what we will do is we're going to point it to an instance. So let me go ahead and first connect to that instance. And once I've connected, then we have the choice of database or even down to the table in terms of what we want to analyze. And I can also look through all databases, mind you, but in our case, we're just going to search against our healthcare database. So I select the healthcare database. I can then leave it open-ended in terms of the tables, and I'm just going to go ahead and perform that search. So when I do that, now as you can see, it's quickly coming back and showing me the columns that were identified that are suspect to be containing sensitive information, and so that I could go through and validate that. And then when I'm ready, I could go out and export this information to a CSV. So when I do this, just notice a couple things. I'm going to go ahead and export it. And I'm just going to copy this path, so we'll have it for later in the demonstration here. And let's save it over this one that we had used before as an example. So now I've saved it, and I want you to notice it is in the CSV format. In order to actually get this to import into Compliance Manager, there's a couple of steps we need to do to massage the data. The first is to remove the header. Okay. The second is to remove the last 3 columns in the output. All right, so now we're just dealing in terms of the database and then the columns and the tables themselves. So what I'm going to now be able to do is I'm going to save this. So save it again. We'll save it as an Excel workbook. Actually, I'm sorry, changing that to a CSV, making sure that it's CSV format. After we've deleted the header and the right 3 columns, we save it again. So now that I've done that, let's go ahead and close out of Excel. And we'll show you how we would actually go through the import of this. And the way that that's going to be done is we would go into Compliance Manager, and we would need to select the instance that we would want to import against. And then all we would need to do is go to the auditing menu and choose to import sensitive columns from CSV. And when I do that, I'm going to browse, in this case, to the location where we saved that information. And now that I've done that, we can surely see all of the columns that we've identified as part of our search. And when I say OK, I can validate now that if I go to Properties and go over here to Sensitive Columns for that database, we now see all of those columns are populated in this view. So I didn't have to actually go in and manually select each one. And obviously this is just a small example of how this can benefit you, but from a time efficiency standpoint, obviously the larger your environment, the more valuable this is to you in terms of being able to search, find quickly the sensitive information, and then import it into the tool that's performing your auditing. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. If you'd like to try either of these 2 products, as I mentioned before, the Column Search product is free, so you can go out and use that all day long. The Compliance Manager product is a paid-for tool from IDERA, but if you'd like to try it, you can go out to our website and try it for 14 days, and it's going to let you, some of the benefits of the Compliance Manager product are that it lets you selectively audit the areas where sensitive data resides rather than having to audit everything. It's very low overhead, low maintenance type of solution, and it's very helpful in situations, as I mentioned, where you have either an auditor coming on site asking you a lot of questions, or if you just have your own internal compliance officers that you want to appease, or maybe part of your change control process, just validating who's making changes to what and when. Thanks again for watching this video. Hopefully it helps, and we'll see you next time.